G'day and welcome to Semen Retention. Here for a Saturday special, just chilling. I've got a gig starting this afternoon, playing at someone's birthday. Thought I'd make a video before I go because I've just got a few things that I want to talk about. So, welcome to Semen Retention. To all my brothers holding on to their seed, keep holding on. I think I'm probably around 260 something days, maybe 270, I don't know. It was the full moon last night at approximately 3:25 here in Melbourne, Australia. So this time I was a bit more prepared. Last time it was a full moon was I was in Queensland playing some gigs. It was a good time actually. I've experienced quite a lot of different things on retention. I've experienced what people call nocturnal emissions. I've experienced the women attraction. I've experienced the synchronicities and all that kind of stuff, the magnetism, all these cool things that a lot of people talk about. And I notice something about full moons is that we basically are affected. Does it affect us more if we're on semen retention or not? No, it doesn't. The reason why it doesn't is because the moon just affects anything that has water in it. That's a given, that's for sure. And given the fact that our bodies are made up primarily of water, then you kind of figure it out, right? So yeah, I just wanted to talk about a few different things. The first thing on my mind is how usually a retainer's presence is felt, but more so a retainer's presence, a retainer's absence is felt probably twice fold, right? I think it does something about like your energy and your inspiration, your wisdom, and currently I'm at a point where I'm like watching some retainers on YouTube. They're just turning into like performative males, and yeah, like I came to YouTube and yeah, sure I subscribed to some of the kind of what I would call a lower tier of semen retainer kind of content, which would be like the Donta Young, Angel Time, Regal Change to an extent. People that just talk about arbitrary things about semen retention. They were some people that I'll subscribe to, but then, when you get on a higher streak, like 100 days, you kind of like look at their content and you're like, cool, But yeah, personally, I think that it's one of those things that I'm just like, I've noticed, my inspirations on semen retention, like high streak retainers, are kind of, they're not really posting as much. And when it comes to me posting videos, I usually have like a little burst, like a creative burst of energy where I'll record like 3 videos, 4 videos in 1 day, 2 days, whatever. And then I'll just schedule them out through the week. So I understand as to retainers that want to really, just conserve their energy and not be posting videos all the time. But a shout out to Shaved Lion King. Hope you're doing well. Us in the community all respect you. And I'm talking about like us serious retainers. Like there are a lot of clowns out there that you look at the comment sections at some of these videos of these, what I would call performative males. And it's not just one semen retainer out there. It's not just 2 or 3. There's a lot, right? It's getting to a point where people are kind of, they're turning it into like a high school little meme. And it's reminding me of when I was like, 20, 22 years old, 25 years old, probably latest, where like, I just had a few friends that were still obsessed with memes and just like, it was just kind of cringe. I understand people being young and having a sense of humor and all that kind of stuff. I'm no, devout, stoic, stone cold kind of person that never has a laugh at anything. But this practice, like, yeah, you can find some comedy within the things that you go through and all that kind of stuff. But when people are just, being performative on the internet for the sake of, getting some attention and all that kind of stuff, it's like you cultivate an audience of Kumas. Like, let's be honest, like your audience is nothing of inspirational type of people. My followership, to be honest, is very small and actually like a tight. I see my followers on other semen retainer channels, and I notice their comments on other retainers channels, and I notice that they're actually, I would say, on a higher level, and it's just one of those things that like since like the Shaved Lion King has stopped posting, and a few others aren't posting as much and all that kind of stuff. I think it's one of those things that I noticed that absence is felt. And for me, like, I'm not relying on these people to do, content for me for inspiration, but it's kind of good to get like a bit of a check-in from someone and whatnot to just kind of like see where they're at, because, these people are inspirational. And yeah, like, I think personally, I look at some of the content on YouTube and I'm just like, yeah, I'm now finding myself gravitating to a bit more kind of obscure content, and even just listening to audiobooks, things that I've listened to before, like The Bliss of the Celibate, the Brahmacharya, or I've already read the Brahmacharya book, and it's sometimes it's good to just listen to the actual original inspiration, being like Swami Samananda or whatever his name is, Savananda, and just like get it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. That's what we say, But yeah, people, they're getting a little bit kind of it doesn't give me the vibe of men that are on like semen retention. And we recently had Alpha T do a random post on his channel just saying I'm back, and I kind of had a thought about that, and I'm just like, well, I hope that he posts something, otherwise, like, what was the point in that? Like, I don't know. I could sit here and talk to you about every single element of my life, and the female attraction and the business going well, and my musical abilities upgrading every single day, and the new ideas and new business routes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think I'm going to be getting to a point where I start expanding this channel's kind of content a bit more, or even just kind of checking in maybe every 50 to 100 days that I do semen retention for, because yeah, it's just I feel like us retainers that are like in that higher tier, that have done at least a whole year of semen retention before, like, it's just like you're set apart, obviously, but like yeah, you can't really hang out with those little boys that are making performative type of videos. I actually find some of the ones that make performative videos less cringe than the ones that like get a whiteboard out and try to explain every single element of your journey on semen retention. Like, it's just not like that. Like, there is no time frame on semen retention. Like, and there are no kind of canon events that occur on semen retention. Everyone's different. Like, if you are a virgin and you've never had a girlfriend and your ass smells like the worst poo in the world, and you're an overweight Kuma, like, and you just started practicing semen retention, a girl's not going to randomly text you, okay? Like, you need to focus on wiping your ass first. You need to focus on getting your own stuff together. If you're like maybe an older male that's got kids and all that kind of stuff, you're probably going to prioritize your children and your work over attracting a woman. Whereas if you're a man in your, mid-20s to 40s, you might want to actually be trying to attract a woman so then you can have kids. That's if you want kids, It's like everyone's got a different path, and also there's no cookie cutter kind of thing. You just gotta practice semen retention. That's it. Yeah, I noticed that it's one of these things that I'm definitely guilty of making some kind of content that's been a little bit cringe in the past, but I'm not performative. I'm not overdoing it. My energy is just my energy. Basically what I find is I, like, for example, last month when I met that girl and I made that video about attracting younger, beautiful women and all that kind of stuff, it's like, that was true. It's just what happened. And it's the first time that I've attracted someone that was like, actually, it's the youngest person that I attracted, to be honest. It wasn't the first time I attracted someone younger, but like, it was, it was like a, I don't know, 7-year age gap or whatever. But it was one of those things that I'm just like, like, I learned that lesson and then I move on to the next lesson. This is my purpose for this channel. If people want to know the way of semen retention, I would say that you just gotta read the Brahmacharya book. That is just the full on God mode of semen retention. And you get as close to the light as you can, and then as you get as close to the light as you can, meaning Brahmacharya, which is the God mode, think about it physically. The closer you get to that sunlight, let's call the sunlight the Brahmacharya, right? The closer you get to pure perfection and purity, the greater the shadow you will cast beneath you. And this is true in physical terms. Like, if I was to put my hand closer to the sun, it would cast a bigger shadow on the wall, right? But the thing is that you're going to have to figure out how much of your shadow do you need to integrate within each timeline of your life, right? So Brahmacharya is something that I can integrate for the majority of my weekly life. But then, say on a Saturday, I might want to go, meet up with a girl, go on a date, meet up with them once a month or once a fortnight, maybe even once a week if I'm like really desperate. But the point is that I'm trying to have a healthy balance with both worlds, with that shadow side, where it's like, I'm definitely not going to be a brahmachari because I still need to think about expanding and developing a relationship with someone and making sure that they're compatible. And as soon as I know they're not compatible, I just cut them. It's like, and I'm much more selective now. Like literally in the last month, I've been like way more selective on the women that I bring into my life. Like I'm not dating anyone older than me anymore. I went on a date with a girl that was like 34. I'm 31 years old, and I was just sitting there, just thinking like I'll put this the most nicest way. It's just like I just sit there listening to someone that basically shot themselves in the foot. They were with someone for 8 years or whatever, and it's just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not hating on older women, because I'm gonna be one day with a woman that's older, not older than me, but older in general. And it's one of those things that it's like, well, you just don't need to. That's your standard. That's it. You just don't need to. You don't need to do that. I think as men, you should always, have a younger female. That's why the idea of a helpmate is very attractive to me, where it's like you can guide them. You can be like, hey, can you go to the grocery shopping and do all that kind of stuff and clean up the house for a bit or whatever, and I'll help with this area of the house and you do that. I'll do all the business stuff and get all the money happening and all this kind of stuff. And I think like you can contribute maybe 30-40%, I'll do 60%, so I'll do the majority of it, whatever. It's like, it's like, for me personally, it's one of those things that it's like, it's important to establish roles in relationships, and you don't want someone that's like only just beginning to tap into their femininity. Because if you've been practicing semen retention for as long as I have, which is at least 2 years now, so probably close to 3 to 4 years as far as accumulated time goes, but like, yeah, it's one of those things that like you realize that you just won't settle for masculine women. You won't settle for masculine women, and that also kind of puts pressure on you as a man to maintain your masculinity. And to maintain your masculinity, it means you've got to set boundaries. Like the girl that I met at my gig last month that I was talking about in that, young, beautiful women attraction video, she crossed a boundary that I wasn't happy with. I set that boundary with her. She seemed to kind of lie and try and get her way out of it. And then I just said, yeah, look, that's it. And, just basically after that, I was like, whatever happens this tonight is fine. But, as of tomorrow, I'm just not going to look at you as someone that I'm ever going to kind of consider serious. So that's one of those very quick kind of transitions where you've already emotionally detached from them, and then you're just like, yeah, cool. And it is important to emotionally detach from people that you were also interested in, but you don't become an avoidant personality where you just like, leave people hanging for, days on end or anything like that. You should just know what you want. And that's what a semen retainer does, is that they're in touch with their intuition. It's called intuition for a reason, because your tuition is coming from within. You're teaching yourself. That's why it's called intuition, right? And this is all coming from the semen retention. This is coming from the psychic energy that you develop as you continue to retain your seed for long periods of time. And I can't tell you how many days. I'm not going to get out the whiteboard and tell you after 90 days you're gonna open your third eye, because no, you got to stop drinking certain types of water. You got to stop eating certain types of food. You got to move your body in different kind of ways. You got to express your throat chakra as well. Like, this is why subscribing to these performative semen retainer men is not going to do you any favors, is because they're talking shit, right? They're talking shit. Like, and you're just absorbing bullshit for 20 minutes. Whereas if you listen to me, at least you know it's sincere, and I'm trying to maintain vlogging my lifestyle with you guys so you can get an understanding as to what's going on, the pitfalls, the achievements, and all these kind of things that occur on the semen retention journey. So yeah, like, look, I'm gonna try and be relatively, consistent, at least weekly, with uploads. But yeah, I noticed that the OG retainers and the old timers like Shaved Lion King and just the more mature retainers are kind of stepping back from the community, I think, because it's getting to the point where like almost it needs to be rebranded. I think we need to rebrand it in a sense, like maybe just go on calling it Brahmacharya is going to be good. Or calling it like, like divine masculinity might even be like the most simplistic way to talk about it. It's like we're trying to tap into something that is greater than us, and that comes from within us as well, which is retaining your seed. But whatever the rebrand or whatever happens, I think, YouTube's gonna do what it does, but I know that my followers are, are loyal, and they support me. Some of them have supported me from even after I finished my 452 streak last year, and they still stuck around. So yeah, I'm very grateful for everyone that sticks around for my videos. It's good seeing you all in the community doing different little things and living your normal lives. We don't have to be performative males and talk about how we're sack maxing or whatever. Like, it's just corny shit. Anyway, to all my brothers out there holding on to their seed, keep holding on, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.